Hi, everybody, and a very, very good morning to you. 3rd of October today. We are in the last quarter of this insane year, and welcome to Webinars That Inspire, your weekly dose of inspiration, choice, possibilities, freedom, and transformation. I am Aditi, your transformational mentor, a therapist, an artist, and an entrepreneur. And this month, we are going to be taking up the topic of self care for the entire month, and we're going to have four different webinars on it. Today's webinar being self care in today's times. And the self care topic is, I think, pretty obvious why we've taken it, because many of us have been now living with this pandemic for about 6 to 7 months, and in some countries, even more. Some countries a little less, but that's kind of like an average. And it seems to be getting worse overall for many of us. And we really have no idea when we're going to catch a break from all of this. So while we constantly already lived under some form of duress and stress before the pandemic occurred, with high levels of chronic stress and anxiety for some people. We even had a lot of people who had symptoms of depression, lethargy, failure, fatigue, and an overall sense of failure in their life. And they weren't really, feeling like life's really going anywhere when this whole thing occurred. And it just kind of made things worse. What we're going through right now, we will not know the after effects of it until it's over, and we don't know when it's going to be over. So, this is one of those times where when we are in the middle of this, and it takes a bit of time to understand how long it's going to take. Um, you know, like when we have a grief period in our life or something is taken away from our life, we hold on and we kind of hold it together till that thing passes, and then we kind of fall apart and we allow ourselves to feel everything. This is kind of one of those, but because we don't know when the end is near, we're still grappling with it internally. Which is why I want this month's focus to be on self care, because it is the only way that you're going to start to feel any semblance of peace, any sense of equilibrium and balance within you, to be able to then gather the courage and the strength to move ahead with what it is that you really want to do and deal with whatever is thrown at you. So detox your life. Self-care in today's times is something that you actually should have been doing even before the pandemic hit, and which is why it's even more relevant now. But like many of us, we don't choose something that's good for us until we don't have a choice but to do it. The only other option against it is going completely nuts or having a breakdown. And this pandemic is something that has occurred for you to start to choose more of self love, self care, so that you can preserve yourself and have more vitality and energy to create those things that you want to create in your life. So let's dive in. What we're going to do is there are two sections to this. The first section is we're going to talk a little bit about, or rather touch about, regular self-care activities that you can do pretty much on a regular basis. Regular doesn't mean mandatorily every single day and pushing yourself for it, but it means having to do it at least, I would say, 3 to 5 times a week. These are things that are what are known as daily self care. Why do you do this? Because you can have a better sense of yourself. So, for example, as far as your body is concerned, let's start with the body. That's just much easier to talk about. The first thing is get some sun. Please, for God's sakes, get some sun. It's the strangest thing that for most of us who live in India, where we have the sun 12 months a year, come rain, shine, whatever, we actually have one of the highest vitamin D deficiencies in the world. And this is completely ridiculous. So please get out of the house, maybe go to your terrace if you can't really go out on the roads anywhere, and get some morning sun. If you don't get the early morning sun, it's okay to get out at noon and get the sun as well. Get the sun towards the front of your face, that is, let the sun go in through your eyes, get it on your back. Just get at least 15 to 20 minutes of sun a day. Try and breathe deeply, where there are no distractions. Like, for example, I don't know, many of you have these fitness watches, and smartwatches and Apple watches and all these watches, and many of them have a setting for breathing, and they measure your heartbeat and your breath and all of that. So get one of those out if you're using them. Please make use of them, and just maybe 5 to 7 times a day, just spend a minute, just breathe, just simply be and just breathe. It actually gets you suddenly very, very aware of yourself. You stop being distracted, and your energy doesn't flow out so much into the world as it is used to. But now energy comes back to you, and you become more self aware. So that's the second one. The third one you can do is walk barefoot in the grass, or if you live near a beach like me, just go down to the beach if the beaches are open, and put your feet in a slightly damp sand. I wouldn't advise going out into the sea, but at this point at least. So do that, because these are grounding exercises. They're very, very good for your body. You can actually de stress with that. Also, do some form of body movement. Anything. I mean, choose. You want to go for a walk, run, yoga, play, whatever. I mean, it's totally up to you what you want to do, what your body loves. And please educate yourself as far as food and nutrition go. Try and have a nutritious mix of food. Um, the reason why I'm talking about it, and I know it's very, very obvious that you should be doing it, but you don't. That's the point. Many people don't. Many of us know that we ought to be doing this, we should be doing this, this is good for us, da da da. We know it up here, but it doesn't come out in action. And the only way that it can actually come out in action is when you actually make the choice of when you're buying your groceries and your ingredients. That's the point that you're going to make the choice. You can make the choice for your family, you can make the choice for you. And uh, these are also the times during crisis when we will tend to reach for higher sugar, higher carbohydrate, higher fat content foods that are basically not good for us in the long run. You can have them in small doses, but they're not good for us in the long run. And what that does is it actually slows our metabolism down. So where you actually need your energy and vitality for the body, it saps you of the strength. So do indulge once in a while, not a problem, but on a regular basis, educate yourself about what the right nutritional mix of foods is. The idea here is not to eliminate any food group, but have everything in moderation. Okay, so that's as far as your body is concerned in terms of regular self care. What you can do for your mind is meditate. Now, there are like a dozen meditation apps available. If you've not done meditation ever and you'd like to get into it, or if you've maybe done it under someone's guidance and those people are not available anymore, what you can do is download some of these apps. Now, one of my personal favorite apps is called Insight Timer. I can show you what it looks like. Here we go. So, Insight Timer is a really lovely app. This is what it is like. Here we go. That's Insight Timer. So, it has this little bowl. If you can see, yeah, that's the one. If you had that app, they're just, I don't know, there are thousands and thousands of meditations on it. You have meditation for anxiety, stress, da da da. Please do it. The idea is to do it. It doesn't matter what app you're downloading, just get to it and do it. If you have a guru or a teacher and you've learned meditation, do it. You need to have done at least 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes before you sleep. Other than that, I would also recommend doing something really simple like watching birds and animals. They really, they're just being so much in themselves and in their own space that they become an inspiration for you to learn how to be yourself. It's one of my favorite things that I say, oh, look at the trees, they're treeing, the dog is doggying, the cat is cattying. It's just my way of kind of defining what the energy of what that entity is in that moment. So please be yourself, and just be. It could mean maybe sitting at a window and staring out at the sky. That's perfectly fine. You don't have to feel guilty for it. So please do it. Um, Regulate your screen time. I can't emphasize this enough. This is one of those things of self care that you must do. There are these things that are available on your phone. I think even Android has them. I am not sure. I've never been an Android user, but For me, it's been Apple. And from, like on your phone, let me show you how this works. So on your Apple, towards your left, you'll have these trackers. It shows you how many minutes you've spent on your phone. Like, for example, the amount of time I spend on social media in a day is not more than 45 minutes, and that's literally just to check uh, you know any comments or anything that I need to reply to. Then, for example, productivity will show me about 2 hours, because I have a lot of my tracking apps and all of that on here, where I check emails and do all of my work. So please regulate your screen time, and you choose for yourself what is the amount of screen time that you actually need, versus, oh, this is what I tend to do. No, it's not that. How much time do you actually need on this? You will also find that you're probably a very, very high user of WhatsApp. With the pandemic going on, there are so many people that just keep forwarding stuff, and you don't need to participate in that. That's kind of like today's electronic gossip. Just get out of it. It doesn't really create anything for you. Okay, so that's as far as your mind goes. As far as emotions go, try to acknowledge everything you're feeling without trying to hide anything. Be completely honest with yourself. Acknowledge the choices that you're making on a regular basis. Even if life is feeling completely screwed up right now, there's always something to be grateful for. So try and write a gratitude journal, or there's a beautiful app called the Gratitude app. It's free. It's a little orange colored one with a flower. So write in it, just type in it. It's free, and it'll show you, it'll backtrack and show you all those things that you've been grateful for over a period of time, if you do maintain it. It's called the Gratitude app. And of course, it goes with you wherever you go, because your phone is kind of like an extension of you by now. The last one in this is energy. How do you do daily self care or regular self care with your energy? Please maintain energetic boundaries with people around. Literally, like, you have to ask them, hey, I need some time out today for myself. I need to spend like an hour alone. And they'll, oh, what's wrong with you? Is anything wrong? No, nothing is wrong with me. Okay, I just need some time out. I need to recharge my batteries by myself. I want to read a book, don't disturb me, or I want to meditate, or whatever it is that you wish to do, or you just want to be. Ask time out for your solitude, for your space. It is very, very important for you to do this, because when you're constantly interacting with other people, you are always at the effect of their unspoken expectations, their unmet needs, and you're constantly trying to deliver for other people all the time. When you draw energetic boundaries with people and you spend time with solitude, all of that energy that you have to offer other people doesn't have a place to go. So it actually goes within. And when it goes within, you start to have deeper layers, access to deeper layers of yourself that you probably didn't pay attention to before. And you will start discovering more about yourself in these moments. So these are really beautiful times, because you get to meet you. And I can't think of a better way to spend your time than that. These couple of fruit flies that are come. All right. Then have that conversation with your family members that this is something that you're probably going to be doing on a regular basis. And if they're not okay with it, you be okay with it that they're not okay with it. Everybody doesn't have to be okay with what you do all the time. Yeah, stop carrying the load of other people's resistance towards you or resistance towards your issues. You've got to learn to be okay that someone doesn't like something that you do. If they say, oh, I don't like it, I want you to say, okay, fine, but I need to do this for myself. I really hope you find the time and a way to get around to it. And that's it. Leave it at that. Make it super clear to them that this is what you want. So please honor your own energy first, and then only you'll have enough to offer the others. The last and not the least is the spiritual self care. Are you being totally yourself, or are you faking it? Are you faking parts of you? And why are your connections with others draining you instead of nourishing you? And the most important connection is with your own divinity. Like I said earlier, go deeper inside, spend more time with yourself alone. And that is when your relationship with yourself will get strengthened. Your connection to divinity within will get strengthened. So carving the time out for detox needs you to look at where your time and energy in a day are currently getting drained. And then you start to replace those activities with the detox and self care activities. So I'll give you an idea of what this is like. So, Watching news can be one major area where it's extremely easy to get hooked and swept away. If you're not being self aware of what's going on, you will hesitate to pick up the remote and turn it off, because what's happening there is so interesting. It feeds into our whole energy body, where you're looking for drama. Now that we've been cut off for a while from any sources of external entertainment, the news channels have become a source of entertainment and drama, which they're not supposed to be, but that's how it is right now. So I wouldn't recommend watching more than 10 minutes of news just to catch the headlines. Endless scrolling on social media is another draining factor in your life. Social media and WhatsApp forwards and chatting, like I said, partaking in any kind of electronic gossip. So get out of that. And the last one is binge watching. So you can actually potentially save up to anywhere between 2 to 6 hours a day if you refrain from these activities. And if you have that phone app, tracker, like I showed you a while ago, then please do use it, because it actually shows you how much time you've spent on what. The key points to remember here are using your time and energy very judiciously, because self care happens only when you have these two resources available for you. Most of the time, we do not do self care because, the reason is I'm too tired or I don't have the time. Okay, so now I'm showing you ways in which you can have time and energy both available for you. So, the key points to remember throughout all of this is that anytime you undertake any kind of a detox, create a timeline for it. Okay, so for example, okay, in my case, so it just makes it easier to discuss. I do it twice a year. Okay, so I do like a detox just before summer, and then I do a detox by the end of the year. That's just kind of in the middle of winter, like December end Jan kind of a thing, or a New Year detox. So I take a timeline and I fix that. So it's once every 6 months. And then start to take different areas of your life where you're going to apply this detox. So, for example, I'm going to actually discuss these. I'm going to discuss 7 different key areas of your life where you can apply this detox. Okay, so with me, detox would begin with body, mind, emotions, with spirit, with my home space, pretty much everything that's there, and it goes on for a week. And at that time, I don't meet many people. I don't take too many calls. I don't have sessions. I don't work per se. Or I only maintain things that I need to maintain, like, maintain a relationship and care for my son. I'm a single mom, and then things that need to be done in the house. And if there are basic things that need to be done with work, you get around to doing it. But the idea here is to clean out, to lighten, and to only maintain in focus what is absolutely essential. Because what happens is when you don't detox, your burden, kind of loads up in layers. Like you'll have a layer of burden, another layer of burden, another layer of burden. And before you know it, you are actually maintaining all of your time and energy in maintaining all of this burden that you've accumulated over a period of time. When you let that go, you breathe and you can actually see what is absolutely essential for you. It helps you to sharpen your mind. It helps you to get a tremendous amount of clarity as far as what it is that you want to keep in your life and what you want to give away. So let's get to the first detox. The first one that we're going to discuss that you're going to be doing on a large scale is cleaning out your storage space. So list out all the spaces in your home or your office. Currently, most of you are homebound, so let's stick to home, which are storage areas. Now, storage can be either open storage or it can be closed storage. Open storage would be something like your side tables, your coffee tables, your bedside tables, maybe your television unit, or an open book library, or open shelves in the kitchen or in your bedroom. So these are your open storages. Clothes storages are, of course, where you have your closet where you keep your clothes and stuff. Your dead attic storage, which is the stuff where above where you need a ladder to take stuff out that, and your drawers and shelves and all of that. So undertake a mass cleaning of your space. One second, there's somebody who's Sima, can you mute, please? Thank you. Okay. Undertake a mass cleaning of your home space. I know that this is something most people do just before Diwali. Um, don't wait for that. Okay, you should have done that at least twice a year before Diwali hits. So the idea here is I would use hashtags for this. So hashtag declutter, hashtag detox, and hashtag do I still need this stuff. Okay, so sort it out on that basis. There is a beautiful book by Marie Kondo, Mariekondo, and you can even actually visit her website. She has this question where she asks people, when you want to sort out clutter from stuff that you want to keep, just hold it in your hand and ask, does this spark joy? And you can watch her videos on YouTube as well. She's got the entire clutter clearing stuff, really down to a science and an art. So please watch those videos. Those are amazing. Read her book if you want to. And I've forgotten the name of the book. I'll send it to you guys. So anyway, the point is that use the time principle for all of your stored stuff. Apply this principle to clothes, accessories, paperwork, utensils, everything. So the question that I simply ask, since mine is a 6 monthly detox, is have I used this in the last 6 months? And if the answer is no, I will put it in the I doubt I'll use it again section. Okay. And then there is a section that yes, keep. Then there is a section called I doubt I'll use this again. And then there is a section of giveaway or donation or sell. I very rarely throw stuff. I mostly donate or I sell. Then create space for everything that you're choosing to keep. This is also very important. We mostly have messy homes, and messy homes are an absolute representation of a messy mind. It is a fact. Like, for example, for years together, I suffer from OCD. I am an OCD person. That's obsessive compulsive disorder. So for me, I have to see visually, for me, it's very important to see things in order. If I don't see things in order, I get overwhelmed, I get confused, and I feel lost, and I don't know where to start. So for me, having clarity is very critical. That's one of the essences of who I am as a person, having clarity. So for me, there then comes clarity, having clarity in the home. So if I look at my bookshelf, I have to know that this section has this topic, this section has this topic. Sometimes it's arranged by color, sometimes it's arranged by height. It depends. Figure out what your thing is, okay? And there is no right way or wrong way of doing it. There is your way of doing it. So have your space arranged by who you are as a person. It's very important because that's when you feel a sense of connection with, maybe it's the books or the clothes or whatever it is. And have a place for everything. You have a place, your home, okay? It has a certain address. Within your home, have a space for a particular book or a particular pot or this utensil, that this is the place where it has to go back to. Okay, so that's an honoring of the stuff that you have in your home. Items in the dead storage require special attention. So, for example, you may have stuff there that maybe you've used 6, 8 months ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Pull it out and figure out what you want to do with it. Involve the family if you need to. And what I like doing is I trick myself into doing this. So, how do I trick myself? For me, dead storage is a representation of my subconscious mind. So, everything that's stored over there actually represents what's in my subconscious. So if I want to clean my subconscious out, I clean out my attic and I clean out my dead storage. So if you want to use that, you can use that. When you clean out your dead storage, there is a sense of that you feel, and it feels really, really good. It feels clean. So if that feels clean, you feel lighter. Please remember that a clean space um, invites beautiful energies, and you can actually create a lot more with your life when your space is detoxed. And why is this self-care? You will find out when you do it why this is self-care. You will understand it. I cannot teach you how to swim when you're outside the swimming pool. You need to get in and do it yourself to learn what the thing feels like, and which is why I'm asking you to undertake this in the coming week, because that's when you'll understand why. You'll feel that you've taken the time out to do something for you, and that itself is an indication of self-care. So now, now that we've cleaned out all the stuff in the house and the office, there's going to be a whole lot more empty space. And it's not about filling that empty space up again. Okay. Many people feel tempted, especially in Indian homes. Hey, this spot in the house is empty. Let's fill it with something. Don't. please resist the temptation. Many people are uncomfortable doing it because they feel they need to, fill out their own internal space with stuff. You don't. You can have empty spaces in your home and in yourself, and that's totally fine. The second detox we're going to talk about is a digital detox, which is a very big one. You're not going to like this one because this is where all of your unawareness and your addiction kicks in. So, like the first one with your dead storage and your home was a representation of your mind and your subconscious mind and energy. This is the one where you'll see what parts of you are still unaware and in addiction. So, what are the stuff we're talking about? We're talking about a phone, we're talking about a computer or a laptop, a tablet, your television, and your gaming devices if you have any. So, please check for apps, address book, numbers, social media connections, friend list, Twitter followers, Instagram followers, and clean everything up. The last time I cleaned out my Facebook was probably 6 months ago, and I need to do it again. So, yes, I ruthlessly go and unfriend. It's not really a friend list because that term is being very, very diluted now. It's just a connection list. Okay. These are people who are just connected with you. They probably connected with you to promote their stuff. And if you don't want to enjoy that, you don't like it, then unfriend right away. Don't feel guilty about unfriending people on Facebook. All right. You need to conserve your energy for you, and everybody can't wait to plug their energy into you so that they can drain you of it. Stop giving it away so judiciously. Be very conservative in it. So, a major one is also unsubscribing from a lot of the junk emails that you get. So, the moment you find a new junk email that's coming, just straight away go down to the bottom and hit unsubscribe. All right. Dive into your digital platforms, your OTT platforms like Netflix, Prime, Hotstar, etc., and your cable. And make a list of what you genuinely need, not what you just want to randomly watch. Even your entertainment, try and become more conscious of what you want to entertain yourself with. Okay. I know that this may sound a little bit controlling at the beginning, but when you get into the rhythm of it, you will actually be super grateful for yourself that you did this for you. Okay, so not allowing yourself to be exposed to anything that is fake, unsavory, gossip mongering, and possibly damaging to your psyche is what you need to stay away from. Digital detox also includes choosing what news to follow. Okay, for example, for me on my social media, I don't follow people. I know I have probably around I think some 4,700 or 4,800 so-called friends. They're not really friends. I don't even know these people. But I don't follow a single person. I follow mostly groups and I follow pages that I really like. So my news feed isn't inundated with gossip. I don't want to know what's going on in people's lives. I get paid to do that. So why should I do it for free? And I'd rather use that time for something super judicious and super contributive to my life. All right. So, number three, your circle of people and how to detox from that. This may be a tough one for you, but please do this if you can. If you like people a lot, I get that this can be difficult, but please hear this out and try it out at least once. Also, this exercise may seem a little bit selfish to you, but associating with people you know and can evolve with will actually contribute a whole lot more to your life. I've also faced this a few times in my life where I've had to really choose which people I want to be in touch with and not. And it can be hurtful for some time, but you will move past it. You will be okay. So trim your friendship goals, trim your relationship goals, trim your connection goals with people, and be on a diet of people, only those who are willing to commit to you, commit to your evolution, and vice versa, where you can be that way to them. Apply this to your friends, family, business associates, colleagues, relatives, neighbors, everybody, your entire life circle. And sort it out. So, what questions can you actually ask to sort out through this period of time? What you could do is ask, if you say known them for a significant period of time, like I've known some people for 25, 30 years, friends, so called friends, but they're genuinely connections. Are they any different now than what they were maybe a year or two ago in terms of growing and evolving, and how they are being right now? Does that work for you? Are you having to manage the relationship? Are you having to sort of spend time and energy in it, in maintaining it? If it is draining you at any level, please start to distance yourself from them. The second one is, you really need to get honest about this. Are they friends or are they frenemies? So, frenemies are people who actually don't like you, they hate you, they are jealous of you, they just actually don't like you at all. And they are there under the guise of a friend. And they probably also don't know that they actually don't like you. For example, I had this friend for many years, for about 7, 8 years, and we were kind of pregnant together, and so we bonded over a lot of being a new mother kind of a thing. And years later, it wasn't really working out. Although our boys are friends, but we are not anymore. Simply because every time she would invite me for breakfast out, or I would have lunch with her out, and we'd discuss, she would be on the phone 90% of the time on her WhatsApp. And I would just be like, why did you invite me? Why am I here? And when I constantly got that feeling, I was like, this is not working for me. I don't want to experience this. I want to experience an exchange of energy and words and feelings and emotions. And I want vulnerability and I want growth. I want evolution. And I'm not getting any of those things. So just because you want to go and have lunch at a specific place, you drag me along, doesn't work. So I had to distance myself from that person. Although we did have a great time and I have wonderful memories, but that experience actually decided it for me that this is not, and it didn't happen once, it happened, I think, 6, 7 times. So I gave it quite a lot of time. The idea here is that I don't hate them. Nobody hates anybody, really. But you dislike the experience that you've had with them. So, what you want to do is you want to use that experience to distance yourself and to recreate what kind of connection do you actually want with that person. Start to become more conscious of what you desire rather than just going with, oh, this is how it's always been, or this is just how it's whiz with the person, or this is what they want from me. Stop thinking about what they want and stop thinking about, oh, this is how it's always been. Think about what would you like in this. Where is your voice in this? Where is your need being met in this? Where is your demand being met in this? Have that, voice that out. And if you're not getting it, and if it's only been a one-way traffic with this person, with everything going from you to them, then I would ask you to reconsider. And then that's not a friend, that's probably a frenemy. Please get honest with this one. Is it a two-way street between you and the other person? Is there enough balanced give and take? And the give and take need not be the same. You contribute to them in some way, they contribute to you in a whole different way. And that's perfect, because when you look at the person from that angle, you actually see the beauty of what their essence is, what are they capable of. You get to see what's unique about them, and they contribute that uniqueness to you. So that's what's different about them from you, and you learn to appreciate that about them, and they do the same for you, and that is genuinely a more balanced and harmonious relationship. Then ask the question, are you committed enough together to put your differences behind you and apologize when things go wrong and move on as if nothing has ever happened? Or do you guys keep dredging up the past constantly and throwing it in each other's faces? Just find out if those are some of the factors, then it's probably not a very good idea to have those people around. And then the last question that you can ask is very simple: who drains you and who energizes you? Really that easy. And then find out who do you drain and who do you energize. This is not an exercise in judgment, it's not an exercise in discernment, it is an exercise in awareness. So here, you do not give yourself the permission to judge anyone or to label anyone anything. You simply see this works and this doesn't work, and that's it. Keep it as simple as that. Don't make it a gossip for yourself. Why is trimming and detoxing of people and connections so critical for you? So, have you heard of the old adage, who you hang out with determines what you become, or something like that? I'm not sure if I've got it verbatim, but you get the idea. So, we are all impacted and affected by the thoughts, feelings, emotions, voices, and expressions of people in our lives. If those in our circle aren't vibrating at a certain frequency that we want to remain at, it is futile it is futile associating with them, not dissociating with them, because they're going to constantly plug into you and keep draining you of energy, and then you'll keep complaining, oh my god, this person keeps coming back asking for more, but You are entertaining them. Who's asked you to entertain them? Don't say yes and then complain. Do something about it. It's really as simple as that. I've had friends for 25, 30 years and I've distanced myself from them, but I never quit on people cold turkey. If they message, I reply maybe after a day or two. I just create distance. And all of us actually know how to do that with our energy. So please use that. Use it for the right things for you. So the fourth detox that we're going to be doing is a very simple one. It's a short one. It's your finances and your paperwork. So here's a very easy thing to do. At home, make an emergency folder. It's what I call a in case of fire folder. So it's all your important documents that are going to go into it, from your licenses to your insurance, your passport, everything that you consider absolutely important for you and imperative for your life. So put all of that into that file and folder. So in case there's a fire in your house, you literally just take that one folder and run out, and your life is at that. Get that out of the way. Then file your paperwork. Keep your closet where your paperwork is or your safe is really clean and clear, and sort that out sooner than 6 months. I would say probably sort it out every 3 to 4 months if you can. Make an Excel sheet and write down your most critical and mandatory overhead expenses every month. If it's rent, then rent. If it's your mortgage, EMI payment, then put that down. Everything from your groceries to entertainment, to the tiniest thing. And this doesn't mean that, oh, I want you to cut back, but put down everything there that allows you to have a life you love. This is not about let's cut this and let's make it a budget doesn't mean cutting back. Budget simply means how much are you spending. And it's okay if you put, hey, you know what, I want to spend 10,000 a month only on new app downloads. Totally, that's up to you, but then put that down there. That's my point. So put down every penny that you're going to be spending on, and then look at how much you're earning, and take a look at how your life is actually going from a financial level. Sometimes you may have more staff at home that work for you than you need. You may have an extra maid servant or a cook. Ask if family members can pitch in the house at the same time, and have that expense saved if you can. So work around how you can make it easier for yourself during the crisis at the moment. I used to have a lot more staff earlier, but I have let everybody go. I have one lady who comes in the morning for 2 hours. She helps me around the house. I do everything else. And I'm working from home anyway for the past many years now, so it makes no difference. So the idea here is that know where your paperwork is and know what's coming every month. Know how much money is being spent. This is again an exercise in awareness. And the reason why I'm asking you to detox is we also fill up this area with a tremendous amount of junk. When you keep a lot of junk financial information and paperwork, what tends to happen is it creates a lot of chaos and confusion energy in your life. You will not get clarity. You will not remember things that are very critical, and you don't want that, especially as far as finances are concerned. So get real, get honest, and get super clear as far as your paperwork is concerned. The fifth one is detoxing you. How do you get to the real you? So here the question is, what is it about you that is not working anymore? So look at parts and pieces of you. Who were you last year? Who are you being this year? Have you taken on any kind of behavior that's perhaps new? Is it better? Is it working? Is it not working? What else is new? Are you now procrastinating where you never used to procrastinate before? Okay, so what can you do about that? Are you committed enough to yourself and your life, or are you committed less now? Are you now tolerating more crap from others where you never used to? You used to voice it very clearly before. What happened in between? Why the change? So just take a consensus or do a stock taking of who you are today versus who you were 6 months ago, in my case, and in your case, maybe a year ago, 3 months ago, whatever it is. Put pen to paper and write down what you would like to trim out about you. Yeah. Now, this may seem a bit clinical and maybe cut and dried, but you do need to do this because it's an exercise in awareness. So this is what you need to do to become a better version of yourself. And there may be some qualities that you may have acquired that may not be contributive to you anymore, or they may not seem contributive to you. For example, being impatient or being selfish. And I'd like to ask you to see whether they're actually serving you. So not every quality is like impatience is supposed to be a bad quality. I don't think it is a bad quality. In my case, impatience works for me because that helps me beat procrastination. Okay, so take a look at the quality from every angle, not just from one side. Oh, I shouldn't be impatient. Why? Because the world has considered impatience to be a bad thing. No, for me impatience actually works because I become impatient in order to not procrastinate. I then want to get things done now. I want everything yesterday, and that works for me. So it's if I have to stand in a line, I'm impatient because I'd rather get things done online. It depends, but where it counts with people, for example, I have patience. But I'd say that with people, if you're being overly compassionate, then you probably need to be a little impatient because you shouldn't have that much patience to a point where someone hurts you. So here you go again. I mean, qualities are very, very relative, they're very subjective. So please take a look at how they're serving you. Okay. Would being this way take you where you want to go and get a sense of that? Have a vision of the person of you where you have reached where you want to go. And that's a never ending journey, though. But you'll have the next immediate point visible for you. And take a look at that and see how far and how near you are from it, and then change what needs to be changed. um, and also ask yourself, are there any other qualities I need to acquire, and how do I go about doing that? This comes under self care because this is how you take care of you. Nobody else on the outside is going to do this for you. A coach, a therapist, or a facilitator, or whoever can maybe shed light on this for you, but they can't make you do it. It's really as simple as that. Choosing is always going to be up to you. This activity is about clearing up the clutter that floats around in your energy and stops your progress. So, trimming off the excess to ensure that you're always lean enough emotionally and as a human being and as a spirit to move forward swiftly, speedily, in a way that not just serves you, but serves everybody around you and becomes a source of inspiration for others. So now, detox number 6, your productivity and habits detox. This is where you get to kick your own proverbial ass. Okay, this is where you get to work. There is so much trimming that is required over here. There are hundreds of apps, books, and blogs and materials that are out there on how to be more productive. I am sure none of you guys need a lesson on it or talk about it. But my only point that I want to tell you about productivity here is simple: just choose it. If you're not choosing it, no amount of external coaching is going to help you. You could possibly do a PhD in it, but you still won't be productive if you don't choose it. What is choosing? Simply just doing it. My favorite example is when you have to go and pee. Do you read about it, research on it, debate about it, read blogs and articles on it, download apps about it? Or do you just get up and go? That's the same thing, the same energy. When it's really that urgent enough, you'll do it. So if you want to get productive, just do it, just choose it. Okay. The last detox, detox number 7, is nurturing activities. So after all of this cleanup in all different areas of your life, from your home spaces, etc., to your finances, your finances and your paperwork, your body, your mind, everything, it is now time to enjoy the space that you've created for yourself. So, nurturing yourself means becoming more creative, getting more into the creation energy, into the manifestation or the actualization energy, moving forward energy, expansion energy, the creating of possibilities energy, and creating of opportunities for yourself. All of the stuff that inspires you and makes your soul dance with joy. This includes everything that you are as a human being are designed to do. And it's also the supposed reason why we are the only ones that evolve in spirit and evolve in body and evolve in mind, and the ones that awaken. We are the ones that emote. We are the ones that create. So that part of you that differentiates you from the animal and plant kingdom, that's the part I'm talking about. Nourishment isn't about food, that's nutrition. I'm talking about nourishment of you, nourishment of your soul. So get into the creative arts, do something, pick a hobby, dance, whatever floats your boat, okay? But do it as regularly as possible. Okay. What can you do to feed your soul? And what have you wanted to do for so long, but you didn't have time for? Right? That's what you kept telling everybody. This is the time to do it. How many more years are you going to wait for it, is my question. And are you waiting for it to become from, a to-do list to a bucket list? So remove it from a bucket list and put it back on the to-do list and get around to doing it. All right, so that brings us to the end of the session, and it's now question and answer time. I know that many of you are here online. So what we'll do is I've got some questions that have been sent in. I'll start to read those off, and then I'll take questions from all those who are live. So Raphael from Hyderabad has asked, does wanting best for oneself and fighting for it make one a selfish person? Okay, this is a question I've been asked a lot. I think, Rafa, you already know the answer to this, and what you're seeking is actually validation to the question. So the answer is that no, it doesn't make you selfish. And selfish means that it's about the self. It is self ish, meaning it's about the self in a ish kind of way, in a little bit about the self. So, like when you tell somebody, I'll be there at about 9ish. 9ish means give or take a few minutes forward and backward. Okay. But around there. So it is around the self. So there is nothing wrong if you're going to put yourself first. And you cannot take care of the needs and nurture anybody else till you've done it to you. Your cup has to run over before you can spread the joy to anyone else. So I hope that answers your question. Praveen from Delhi is asking how to balance work, home. Okay, if you mean work and home or work from home and self in the current environment. So find time blocks for certain activities, Praveen. Avoid distractions, be disciplined, ask for space from others. Remember that you cannot do everything every day to try to spread things out throughout the week. Balance is not sought on the outside. Balance is what you feel within you. So do whatever it takes to have that balance inside you. And we'll actually be talking a little bit more about this on next week's seminar, which is called Loving Yourself. And that's the week for the emotional and mental self-care. So please do join us there. Malini from Delhi has asked how to declutter something you think you have let go, but hovers around sometimes. Okay, so Malini, are you here on the call today? No, you're not. Okay. Okay, so Malini, if you're referring to people or are you referring to objects? Because it works differently. Or are you referring to an event? Because it's not clear from your question what part are you referring to. So, except that what I can tell you is that if it keeps recurring, then you obviously haven't done the job fully. So, check what is missing, I guess. What part did you not cover earlier when you were decluttering? And is this about letting go or is it about decluttering? Because they're two very different things. Letting go means it does not exist in your space or in your life anymore. Decluttering is that you are sorting it out and you're organizing it in a way that it remains in your life in another form and it now contributes to you. So, which one of the two is it? If you were there on the call, I would have asked you this question, but I'm asking you so you can think about it. Shankar from Chinsura has asked, I feel anger. How do I control? Okay, Shankar, so this is not the right question for this webinar, but I guess if you see it from a point of view of sorting yourself out emotionally, then don't try to control your anger. Use that anger as an energy and redirect it to making the changes in your life that you've been wanting to make. If you're angry with yourself for, say, procrastinating, then use the anger energy to start creating. Okay, anger is just an energy. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad thing. It's just emotion. It's energy in motion, and that's it. Learn to use it instead of resisting it and trying to controlling it and being afraid of it. So please remember, anger in itself is not a bad thing. You have to just ask, where can I use it to create more for me than destroying me? Okay, I hope that helps. So Linda from Florida. Hey, Linda. How does one start and finish? I have started decluttering probably 50 to 60 times only to stop again. I think it's a never ending process, Linda. Firstly, before you start the decluttering process, I would be asking you to be very realistic about your timelines that it takes you to declutter. If you've done it maybe 50 to 60 times, it means that you're aware of how much time you actually need to declutter, and you've underestimated the amount of time you need. So have that timeline drawn for you very clearly, and stop with the distractions. Don't take calls, let your calls go to voicemail, and put your phone on silent. Put all other distractions away, put on music that gives you joy, and just get to decluttering. That's it. It's really, and finish it. Stop getting distracted in between. Nehal from Ahmedabad has asked how to detoxify your life with people you love and they don't want to do it. That's family and husband. Okay, so I think this is pretty common. First of all, don't make a big deal out of it that your family doesn't want to detox. Let your family know that you want to do this and you would love assistance, but you aren't doing it for them. You are doing it for you. Please remember, it is self care, not care for others and care by others. It is self care, meaning you are doing this for you. Um, if you do it a few times over, they may actually start to feel guilty that they're not participating in it. So you want to move to that side. It's happened with me a few times. I started doing a lot of self care activities, and then people at home in the beginning were not okay with it. Then they were like, she's just up to her thing. And then now it's come to a point where they do it on their own for themselves. And I've not said a word. Lead by inspiration. Okay, Vasanta from Hyderabad has asked, how do I become mentally strong? How can I detox my thoughts from toxic relationships? And how can I achieve emotional detachment from people who meant all but suddenly pulled me down and showed me down? Okay, this is a very big topic, Vasanta. But what I can do is I have done an entire series around drawing boundaries in relationships in order to detach and not have that kind of toxicity. I've done this in the month of August, and they are now available on YouTube on my channel, Aditi Nirvan. So please do visit and check it out. I think all your questions will be answered there. Venkatesh from Pune has asked, how can I control my thoughts, control myself, control what to say and what to hold on, and control myself? Okay. So, Venkatesh, that's a whole lot of controlling that you're seeking. Any reason why so much of it? I mean, what do you think that you're doing that is so terrible and so out of control that you think you need to control yourself so much? Just be normal, be natural, and be in the flow. I do need more information about what you're talking about before I can say anything more, because I feel you're not being specific. And also, today's topic is really about self care. And when you're trying to control so much, it goes against self care. So please implement what I have shared with you here instead today, and I assure you, you'll see a big difference. And the last question is from Gia from Delhi. How to be happy? Okay, that's $1 million question, Gia. There is no formula, there's no pill that can give you the answer. If you're not in tune with yourself, if you're out of tune with your life, if you're out of sync, if you're living to cater to everyone else's expectations, you're not listening to your own inner voice, you're not detoxing regularly, you're not doing self care practices, you have lesser chance of being happy. Let's just put it that way. So if you please use today's webinar guidelines, you will definitely feel a whole lot better and many, many, many steps closer to joy. So I hope that answers your question. All right, so I'd like to open this up. We have a few minutes left. Do any of you on the call here have any questions that I can answer? You can open up your videos and your audios for that. I see that Frenny has written something in a wish kind of way, meaning I'm not getting that. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so meanwhile, I'll just inform you guys that next Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on webinars at Inspire, I'm going to be talking about what are the ways in which you can start to love yourself. So the title is Loving Yourself, and it is about mental and emotional self care. So, Madhusudan, thank you, Aditi. Most welcome.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for the wonderful session. It was really awesome and very informative, and I think very practical also. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for that.
Most welcome.
So when it comes to detoxing, couple of things which are related to parents, and you stay with your wife and parents, and things which are not in your control, which you want to take it out,
Hmm.
how to deal with that, because they have their emotions attached. And now the way your family is growing, your space is limited. You can't occupy keep everything in the same place. So I need
Okay.
your
So
guidance on
can
this.
you, Praveen, can you be a little more specific because then I can help you with that? Because what you're asking is still a little bit more general.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
So let's understand that way.
hmm.
My wife had some interest of painting.
Sorry, your wife had? Are you there?
Some 10-15 years.
Praveen, you're.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So I'm saying, let's say my wife has an interest of painting,
Okay.
and she had that painting box, brush, things related to that. But for the last 10 years, she has not done it.
Mm-hmm.
Now if I want to take this out from here and there, she again put in her own double bed and some box, and then
Mm-hmm.
the similar kind of stuff keep moving from one place to other place. I'm
That's right.
giving you one example, and
Okay.
I'm not able to communicate her. I communicate it, but she's not able to understand. Why do we keep things which are not required now? If required in future, we'll again buy.
Right.
Let's gift it.
Right. Okay. And what did she say to that?
I'm attached.
Okay. So does she do that with other things in the house as well, or is the painting thing the only
Yeah, many things.
many things? Okay.
Yeah,
Fine. So she is scared of letting things go.
yeah.
Okay. So is there anything that you can do or say to her to encourage her to perhaps pick up the habit again?
See, I understand that point. But the thing that is like the kind of environment we are in right now,
Hmm.
we're not getting much time out of it.
Uh,
Not
for
possible.
for her
Not
to
possible.
paint.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Not
okay.
possible.
Okay. So there's nothing that anyone can do to help her around the house so she can make the time to do her art.
Yes, yes. Not
Okay.
possible.
Okay. All right. Cool. So perhaps when the lockdown lifts further and people become more mobile, you can address this. If not right away.
Hmm.
See,
Correct.
you can't clear out other people's spaces, Praveen. You have to clear your own. So you can focus
Correct.
on removing what you have been holding on to, but you can't push your wife to let go of something that she wants to hold on to. This,
Correct.
this is self care. Like I said, this is not about you caring for others. And there's also a thin line between caring and controlling. What you're trying to do here is maybe subtly try to control what she is doing as a form of
Correct.
care. It's not
Correct.
actually care, it's control.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So forget about her. Forget about what she does, she doesn't do. That's up to her. She's a different human being. Although you guys are together, you're married, she is also a whole different individual by herself. So you don't have to do this with her. You have to do this for you. So
Correct. I got it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so clear your junk. I mean, in the same
Yeah.
bed storage where her art is, have you left anything there that you don't need? Take a look at that and clear that out.
Right. I got a point. I got a point.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I
Okay.
got a point. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Most welcome. Most welcome. Okay. Anyone else who's got questions? There are lots of windows popping up. Okay, the selfish thing we were discussing, being selfish. Yes. Can we bring in a little kindness? Seema's asking. Maybe that should help. Okay, with regards to what, Seema? Kindness towards others, are you referring, or is it kindness to you? Because everything to do with self care is an exercise in kindness and compassion towards yourself. It's about taking yourself to task in a way that you begin to actually love you. Praveen's question. Okay. Yeah, I think like I said to Praveen, that, it seems a little bit more of a control than care. And that can be a pretty thin line. When you tell someone, oh, I'm doing this because I care for you. No, the answer is that you're trying to control them. Do they want it? They don't want it, then don't do it. And that's kindness. Kindness is taking into consideration what the other wants. So I think that's answered. Okay, guys. If there are no more questions, then let's bring this webinar to an end. Um, And I can't wait to see you guys next week. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Loving yourself is much, much harder than what people think, but also at the same time, the easiest thing in the world. It's very, very hard because you wonder how to, but when you know how to, it's just so easy, and you wonder why you never did this before. And we're going to dive much deeper into that. So I will see you guys next week. Meanwhile, have a wonderful week. Please go ahead with the detoxing and share with me how the experience of detoxing your life has gone. And I send lots and lots of love and blessings to you all. And have a lovely weekend, guys. Thank you so, so, so much. Bye bye.